Hello and welcome. Many of you have been waiting for me to do this, so here it goes. This is the box I received from Vortex Optics the other day. Let's crack her open, see what's inside. So what we have here is the new Strike Eagle 5x25x56 rifle scope. It's got the EBR 7 Charlie reticle in it. We're going to go over this thing in detail. Let's cut it open and see what we got. So, super excited to get this in. Do this review. Alright, as you see, as soon as you open it up, nice, clean packaging. Pops right out. Does come with some scope covers. Does come with a sunshade. Got to have the supplied reading material. And that is the contents of the box. So we've got lens cloth, super important. Keep it clean. The actual rifle scope, the reticle booklet, and then past inspection. All right, inside the actual housing of the sunshade was the tool to undo the caps. We actually have the Zero Stop ring, which we'll talk about. We have the battery for the illuminated reticle, the Allen key, and the actual throw lever. This comes with a really nice metal throw lever. All right, let's talk a little bit about the scope. This is the MRAD version. So, put these scope caps off to the side. So, this is, as I'm looking at the back of the scope, I'm looking at the front of the scope, you're looking at the back of the scope. Really positive. Nice positive click action on the locking turret unlock. Really nice heavy clicks. I'm going to shut up so you can hear that. Really positive clicks. Lock it back down. Good to go. Same thing on your windage. Really tough knurling on this. Really nice. Get a positive grasp on it. Really nice. Once again, locking. I'm more of a hold your wind guy, so I'm not going to be dialing it. Once I get this set, I'm just going to lock her down and it'll be good. If I do need to do any dialing, that's a quick up and down, spin it to where I need, and good to go. The parallax on this goes down to 15 yards. I'm going to be using this on a 22 long rifle set up for open class in the NRL 22. That's just what I prefer. That's what I'm going to be testing this thing on. But it parallaxes all the way down to 15 and then goes all the way out to infinity. And if we look at it here, it goes from 15, 20, 30, 50, 75, 100, 2, 3, 5, and then out to infinity. Now on your parallax knob, you also have the click for illumination, and those are positive clicks. There's no half marks in between. On off, you just rotate this thing to wherever you need it to and then go all the way back down. I don't do a whole lot of night shooting, so I'm not going to run illumination, so I'm not even going to put the battery in. That's just my personal preference. 5x25, really nice on the spin here. Nice and positive. Nice and stiff diopter. I like a stiff diopter that takes a little bit to crank it, that way it doesn't get bumped. I am a person that uses the positive ID marks. Throw a little bit of paint pen on there, that way I know where it's at. So 34mm tube to help a little bit more light transmission come into the actual optic. But this is it, guys. Vortex did a whole video on all the specs and the tricks. I printed it out. It's literally right on the website. I'm going to drop the link for this particular model scope on the website, but just some things that I noticed. It's a 5x25, 56 mil objective here, 34 mil tube, so 31 MRAD. So 31 MRAD up and down is the travel. Once you put that rev stop in here, you're going to have approximately 18, depending on 18 mils of elevation once you zero it. So keep that in mind, that once you install the Rev Zero Stop, you'll have approximately 18 mils of elevation. I don't know what the MOA is on that. You can look that stuff up. I don't know a whole lot about MOA. That's just me. I don't use it very often, if ever. So once I get this installed, and I'll probably do a quick video on how to install it, then I will have approximately 18 mils of elevation based on where I zero it. If I zero at 25, 50, wherever I end up zeroing this particular scope, seeing how it's going on at 22, it'll be at 50 yards. All right, so some other interesting facts. It does have the Rev Stop Zero system. We're going to talk about that later in detail. It is waterproof. It's got the O-ring seals that prevent the moisture, dirt, and dust from getting in here. It is fog proof. It's been nitrogen gas purged, which prevents fogging on the inside of your lenses, which is important depending on where you are in the country, what your fog, humidity, buildup on the lens, anything like that. Tactical locking turrets, we talked about that for both elevation and your windage. It's got those positive clicking and locking of your turrets. It is a first focal plane reticle, and then it is a glass etched reticle. So first focal plane scope with a glass etched reticle. This is running the EBR7 Charlie reticle. It's going to be my first opportunity to run that specific reticle. Super looking forward to it. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw in the Rev Stop, and I'm going to show you guys how that works. All right, so stay tuned, one moment. Okay, so now we're ready to install our Rev Stop. You will need the actual turret tool and the Rev Stop ring. On the actual Rev Stop ring, it tells you, can't hardly see that, which direction to spin it. It tells you which direction to actually spin it. So make sure you read your instructions about as well as I do. So I'm going to use the tool. I'm going to undo the turret, tap. You would perform this once you've already gotten your zero established on your scope. Turret comes off, goes on, spin it in the direction it tells you to. Positive stop. Okay, now I have positive stop. Get my hand out of there. It no longer turns. Put it back down. I want to make sure that I align the numbers on my turret to 0. Place my turret back on. Secure my cap. Now when I unlock, it goes down half a mil, right? So it'll go 5/10 or half a mil below your zero. So if you crank this thing all the way up to a number, you go all the way back down, bottom it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I know I'm back at 0, I can lock it down, right? That's how easy this Rev Stop is to install. Super simple, super sleek, super neat design. How long did that take me? 30 seconds, and I talked through it. Really, 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 really simple, everybody. You can do it too, all right? So what do you say we break out the Seekins rings, 34 mil, low, and we get this bad thing mounted up on the rifle it's going to go to. All right? Stay with me. I'll be right back. Okay, folks. So I've got my rings ready, got the scope ready. Let's go ahead and mount my rings up on top. So say that crap, whatever. All right. Place it in there. I'm probably going to get this right the first time. I'm not saying I'm good, I'm just saying I adjust. I'll make it work. I just want to get one started at first. So these specific rings, it talks about the top screws holding down these caps being at 20 inch-pounds and that the side screws being at 50 to 55 inch-pounds. So make sure that you read your owner's manual on your specific items and make sure you know what your torque values need to be, what they should be. That way you don't pull a me and have stuff come off at the range, because that sucked a lot. So some of you have seen this rifle before, some of you haven't, some of you this is the first time you're joining me. I'd like to say thank you for joining us this afternoon as I do all this fun stuff. But this is a CZ 455 in a PDC Customs chassis. This has a Yo Dave trigger kit in it. It's hovering right around a pound, maybe 12 ounces. Not 100% sure. It's nice, it's light, it's crisp. Got an old Harris bipod on it because it works. I will be getting a B&T cow here shortly. Really like those B&Ts. I'm using the Optic USA cheek pad on the rear of this. Really like that as well. And then I'm using a, you guys are going to laugh at me, but a Strike Industries. Like, that's generally for ARs and everything else. Yep, you're right, and that's why you may laugh at me, but that's okay, right? I'm using that muzzle brake on the end of it to get the muzzle brake just past, or get the barrel just past the end of the chassis here. It wasn't a big deal. I just wanted to make sure that if anybody borrows this rifle or uses it in our NRL 22 matches, that they don't try and grab the front up here and then accidentally have a bad day. Also running the Area 419, 455, 30 NOA base on this. For those safety guys out there, it is safe. It is cleared out. It's now unsafe. I apologize for not doing that in the beginning. But there you go. This is what it would look like mounted up. I'm glad I went with the low rings. I still have plenty of room underneath. So not quite the space of an Allen. So I think this looks really, really nice. I can't wait to get behind it and take a look, take some pop shots. I plan on getting out to the range this week and not only show you guys the actual zero process in Rev Stop install once the gun is zeroed, but also we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw my phone scoped vision on it, and we're actually going to do some plinking with it at some paper targets from different distances, maybe take it over and shoot some long range steel and see what this thing can do, whether it be holdovers or whatnot. I really like it. Really looking forward to the 10 mil turrets. So these are 10 mil turrets. And what I also like about these turrets, besides having a positive Rev Stop on there or a zero stop, is once you get to the back to zero, it starts at 10 directly above the zero, so you know what you're on if you rev past. I'd like to thank you guys for sticking with me so far and looking at not only the features, but also the install of the Rev Stop and the install of the optic on this
CZ455 in a PDC Customs chassis. So I'd like to say thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you guys out at the range shortly.
Hey folks,
Stay tuned.
welcome back. It's Guy DeMarco. I'm out here at the range, and as promised, I've got the Vortex Strike Eagle 5x25 on the PDC Customs CZ455. I'm going to run some chrono rounds over the magneto speed right now, figure out what the dope for this ammo is coming out. I'm using some Aguila solid point lead 40 grain, nothing special. Gonna get it zeroed in. Once I get a good zero, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the install of that Rev Stop system, and then do a glass comparison, because that's what people seem to be having the most questions about, is how's the glass, how's the glass. So I have a Diamondback tactical, I've got the Strike Eagle, and then I brought out a PST Gen 2, and I will be taking those over to the long range side and hooking the phone scope up there, and then letting you guys see what the glass looks like. Hopefully that comes through on the video, so hopefully I can make that happen. So stay tuned, stay with me, shoot a couple groups, we'll be back. Okay, now that I've got my zero established, it's time to go ahead and float these turrets. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to lock down my windage, make sure my top and my bottom are locked down. And the weapon is unloaded, no magazine, chamber is empty. What I'm going to do now is reposition the camera so you can really see me when I do the install of this Rev Stop. Okay, so the first one I'm going to adjust is going to be my windage. Use the provided Vortex tool, it's nylon, get it in there. I like, even though the caps are locked, I like to hold it in place to make sure that nothing shifts. Then you're gonna spin this out. Okay, and then I'm gonna pull directly out. Now I'm going to make sure that everything lines up when I put this back in. Boom, perfect. Still applying a little bit of pressure, that's just me. Boom, snug. Now we're going to do the elevation. Make sure I've got my Rev Stop ready. I'm going to pull straight up. Now, on the Rev Stop, right here, says rotate to stop. Now, at first I wasn't 100% sure on this. You're going to give it some slight pressure down and it's going to pop into place. And then you're going to rev it until it stops. It stopped. Get behind it. I'm providing just a slight bit of pressure on that ring so I know that it's stopped. Boom. Once again, a little bit of pressure. Boom. Now I have a proper zero stop applied to the elevation turret. So now I can go up as many as I need, come back down. It's going to bottom out at 5 past 0, so it'll show on the 6/10 below, come up to the 0, snap it in place. Okay, so one thing that people have asked is how much elevation will I have after I've installed that Rev Stop? So as you can see, I'm locked down. I'm at 0. Now how many mils of elevation do I have? We're just going to crank it, see where we're at. So that's 10, notated by the 10 just above the 0. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's 18. So if I look at that, provides me with 18.8 mils of elevation above my 0. So on this 22 particular, that's probably going to be in the 300 to 325 yard range. I don't have my ballistics calculator handy, so I can't tell you what it is. I'll probably drop that in a little screenshot below. But 18.8 mils above 0 for the installation of the Rev Stop. Zero, all the way down, positive stop. Back to 0, locked in. So everyone, as you can see, that installing the Rev Zero Stop by Vortex is super easy. Even I can do it. Just set your 0, pull it off, rotate to stop, resecure your turret back at 0, lock down the screw, and everything's good to go. What we're going to do So many of you have asked, what is the glass clarity on the new Strike? Well, I'm out here at the range. We've got about 800 yards downrange to play with. So what I'm going to do, the very front scope I have up there is the Diamondback Tactical. And then I have a in-the-box brand new Viper PST Gen 2. It's never been mounted, anything like that. And then I've got, of course, the Strike Eagle. So I'm going to hook the phone scope division back up to all 3 of these optics and then run them out to distance. That way I can show you the quality of the glass between the 3 different scopes. Hopefully this answers some of your guys' questions. Okay, here we have the Vortex Diamondback Tactical 6-24 on the phone scope. Everything is set up. I'm on a target at 272 yards. I've dialed in the parallax. Everything looks nice and crisp as best I can. I'm going to take a still photo of it and then throw it in the video so you guys can see it. So there we go. I just captured a video with the phone scope. Next. Try 350. Okay, here we are. Target's 350 yards away. It's a man-size IPSC, 350 yards. Once again, everything looks nice, crisp, clear. Image captured. All right, if we go all the way out to the back berm, we're looking at 800 yards. So let's go ahead. Once again, 800 yards. Everything looks crisp and clear as can be with this optic. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's 3 pictures. We got 275, we've got 350, and we've got 800. All right, so I'm going to repeat the same thing with the Viper PST, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now we're set up with the Viper PST Gen 2. This has the EBR 7 Charlie reticle in it. Very nice, very crisp. Yeah, so 275 yards. Picture is captured. Spin over to 350. Okay, once again, 350, Vortex PST Gen 2. And good to go. Now moving out to 800. And 1, 2, and 3 captured. All right, so there's the 3 pictures, 275, 350, and 800 yards. Okay, so when your stuff doesn't want to work, such as your hog saddle is too small to hold the PDC Customs chassis, you survive, adapt, and overcome, and you break out one of your most trusted bags, if not your most trusted bag, and you just use a sticky pint-sized game changer, because, you know, you got to use what works, and it works. So there we go. Now we're running this at about 10 power just because the way that the phone scope is set up. It's really hard to capture it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to aim the gun. We are safe and clear. It's just I can't get the bolt handle up and be in the right spot at the same time. All right, there we go. Now moving over to 350. And now 800. So those are the 3 comparisons between the Diamondback Tactical, the Viper PST Gen 2, and the new Strike Eagle from Vortex.